what I saw this morning. I woke up thinking about death again. Not in a sad, morbid way, just in that familiar way it visits sometimes, like an old friend who drops by unannounced. The standing fan was spinning slowly, making that slight clicking sound that I'd gotten used to. I should probably fix it, I thought. But I knew I wouldn't. Some things just become part of your daily soundtrack. The sunrise was peeping in through the gaps in the curtains. They were second-hand curtains, like most things in my apartment. I don't mind that anymore. I used to feel shame about it. I used to imagine visitors judging my life choices through my choice of furniture. Now, I just saw them as fabric that kept the light out when I needed it to. My phone showed 6:47 a.m. I had 3 notifications from people I hadn't spoken to in months. That's how it goes these days. Everyone's connected, but nobody's really talking. I left them unread. The morning was too fresh to pollute with social obligations. I remember how my therapist asked me last week if I was happy. I had laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it felt like such a simple question for such a complicated thing. Happy? I wasn't unhappy. I wasn't anything really. I just was. Like that standing fan, spinning neither fast nor slow, just maintaining its steady rhythm. The kitchen called to me, not for food. I rarely ate breakfast anymore, but for that first cup of tea. The kettle had a layer of limescale inside that I could see when I filled it. It was the calcium carbonate in the water. Another thing I should probably fix. The list was getting longer. I added it to the mental list of small repairs that represented larger life changes I wasn't ready to make. I stood by the window while the water boiled, watching the early morning traffic. A man in gym clothes was walking his dog. The dog stopped to sniff something while the man checked his phone. Neither seemed particularly interested in the other's presence. I wondered if that's what most relationships eventually become. 2 beings sharing space but living in different worlds. The tea was too hot when I first sipped it. It always was. But I always tried anyway. Some lessons you never really learn. Or maybe you learn them but choose to ignore them. Like how I knew staying up late watching documentaries about deep sea creatures wouldn't help my sleep schedule. But I did it anyway. There was something comforting about watching life exist in places it shouldn't. I thought about calling my mother. I hadn't spoken to her in 3 months. The last time we talked, she'd asked me if I was eating well, if I had found someone special, and if I was still at that job that she didn't quite understand. I had lied about the first 2 and changed the subject on the third. It was easier that way. Some truths don't need to be told over the phone. The neighbor's cat was sitting on my balcony again. It was black and white. It stared at me through the glass, judging my existence with that peculiar feline intensity. I stared back. Sometimes I felt more understood by that cat than by most humans I knew. Work would start in 2 hours. I had a Zoom meeting at 9 a.m. that I should prepare for. But instead I sat there, letting the tea grow cold, watching the city wake up. There was something beautiful about this time, when the day hadn't quite yet decided what it wanted to be. Like those moments in your early 20s when anything seemed possible, before life started showing you who's boss. I noticed a spider had built a web in the corner of my window. It was subtle, almost invisible until the light hit it just right. Then it became this brilliant piece of engineering, a testament to persistence. I thought about how many times that spider must have fallen, must have started over, must have questioned its purpose, if spiders do such things. Then I thought about how I was probably projecting my own existential crisis onto a spider, and I almost laughed. The tea was cold now. I drank it anyway. Some things are worth finishing, even if they are not quite what they were meant to be.